mind.
That's good.
All right. I'm gonna ask somebody to do the analysis here for me. How do you want to look at the market first? Where do you guys want to start from? Scratch.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me where to start. What do I do?
You need to zoom out. Time frame. I mean, me personally, I prefer to start on like the month and then go to the week and then the day.
Okay.
Like to look at the volume. That's a pretty ugly monthly candle with low volume. Well, I guess we still have whatever 10-ish days left.
Yeah, you're holding the lows here.
Yeah.
How about if you guys think about this in terms of VPA?
Uh-huh.
Think about it in terms of volume profile.
That's
I'm
one
working.
massive D shape there.
Okay. So if you're moving from a value area to a value area, and we'll turn on SVP here. Okay, so we're shifting here higher, right? You guys agree? We shifted higher.
Yep.
Value area is moving. We're still inside of this value area. When you're in the range, what will be your sign that there's a high chance you're going to continue higher?
Breaking the range.
Okay, think in terms of profile.
By,
when your volume profile accepts a new value area above.
Okay,
closing
what else?
above the POC.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
one. Those are bullish sentiments, right?
Yeah.
Yep. P shape with close above the POC. I don't know if he said the P shape part. I couldn't hear. But...
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Okay. I figured you did. I just wasn't sure.
Okay. I want you guys to start remembering this piece here. When I ask you guys to draw an FVP of this range, why do you guys think I do that?
Well, it shows you overall like it's a D shape, but the POC is to the upside.
Okay.
Start
Okay,
of
now
range.
say it again.
Start of the range from where this range started.
Okay.
On that point to learn.
Now think about this. This is a composite profile, meaning it's made up of, I don't know how much, since March 7th, correct?
Yep.
Till almost a month, I would say. It has a good number of days inside. So if you're going to continue higher out of here, what do the individual volume profiles, at least value areas, have to do?
Overlapping higher.
It's key that we break the composite value area higher.
Yes. You have to.
That's how you know you're going to continue potentially a change of a trend up. If you're rejecting out of this area, right? Because right now are we accepting or rejecting this value area? You're accepting. You haven't popped out of it.
Yes.
We're inside this composite area. So when you think about bigger picture, right? When you're reading the market, right? When I look at the market right now and I'm like, okay, it's very close time to almost sell. I don't see many buyers coming in here. And if I check the daily, so today we had an update, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we had an update. We dumped it. So how come you moved it all the way from the value area low to the high, but there's no volume? What was the number 4 question I sent to you guys on that little? You guys remember the questions? I asked you guys to print that out.
No, you did, but
4 was, where did the market open compared to the prior day value area? And did it ever get back inside the previous day value area?
And there's one right before that, I believe it's question 3 that talks about volume. Right?
Yeah, that one is, did market find new value area higher with higher volume or lower?
Okay. Did this market find new value area or get out of this value area with higher volume?
No.
No.
It did not.
No.
Okay. Did this market make higher high compared to the previous sessions?
Yes.
Well, not all the way.
Higher lows, but not higher
No,
highs.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, not compared to that one, but to the previous day.
To the previous day, no.
Okay. But did it make lower
The
lows?
one before, yes.
Okay. All right. And our volume value area is overlapping where?
Oh,
It's
on the bottom.
overlapping the yesterday's value area
To the upside. It's
to the upside, correct?
so the value areas, right? What I'm giving you a lot of hints here because you will get a quiz soon, probably by the end of Friday on some of this stuff. If my value areas, this is my previous day, there's multiple ways the way value areas can look. So you can have current session value area here, right? And this would be very bullish if there's 4 criterias met. And those 4 criterias that I told you are important that you guys understand because you want to ask yourself, where's market going and is it being supportive? Is the market, the time, the price supporting this? And is the price discovery there? Well, here we had the price discovery, but what were we lacking?
Volume.
Volume was not very supportive. So when you have an overlapping area like this, you want the volume to be higher. And they were not so sure that they wanted it out completely, so they overlapped. There was not 100% bullish continuation pattern on the volume profile today.
Yeah, we noticed that. Bottom, top and bottom.
Then if you turn this on, right, let me just turn it back on. I just want you guys to start looking more of this than shelves. A lot of you guys are pretty good at identifying shelves. Now it's time to read the market, right? Read what it's telling you. Okay, so if the market, if you start at some point where we started consolidating, I would say let's start from maybe if you want, I mean, this is just the whole thing is consolidation. So if you start this whole thing from here, which would be 16, this would be over a month of data, right? So that's a lot that would capture these highs. I'm teaching you guys now how to know where to grab, and this is more art than science, right? There's no right or wrong answer. What I see here, I know my value area is going to shift by a little bit just because it had 3 days, 1, 2, 3 days of outside of this range. So if I'm really focused on something, I want it to be inside to the right of that. So when I grab this data, I would want it at least to be somewhere from here and give me the value area. Does that make sense why I excluded this? I don't mind if I draw it again and I grab this. I just want the latest data right now. And it's okay if I have this. There's no right or wrong
3
way.
days are outside of the range.
Right. So for me, this is okay, right? If I want to get rid of this, totally okay as well. On a range like this, when you have a range like this, it's not a bad idea to draw your, your template and look at the 95 VA and see where it's at. Like in this case, the 95 is a 406. Why do you guys think it would be important to know where this one is, Cali? Dirty Max, you're killing me. Why do you guys think this would be important? Like when you're ranging like this?
Keep in mind for the standard deviations that are farther away, because then they that way you could really hone in on where the real value is.
Well, be careful what you just said there. Real value. There's really no real value outside of the value area, right? Outside of 68, that means it's not a fair price. Either it's unfair price to the side, meaning it's high up there, or low down there, right? Peanut butter is cheap, peanut butter is expensive.
To know the extremes where standard deviation 2 and 3 are there, so that those are the last, would call it milestones, and from where the price can potentially reverse to come back in the range because it's
That's
moved
exactly
past them.
correct. That's exactly right. So once we identified the 68, right, which we know, it's usually defaulted here. Now these levels right here that I identified. So I know this is my, let's call it. If this is my first sigma here, and this would be, I'm just gonna copy this guy here. And then I'm gonna talk differently now so you guys understand that. So first sigma here as well. If these are my first sigmas, what do we say? Where do people, the long-term buyers and sellers, find value? Where did they buy and sell?
Value area.
That's where participants are happy to trade in. They're happy to trade inside the value area because there's a lot of volume. So if I was to hide these guys, let's hide this one. They're happy to trade in here. Anytime we popped out of here, do you guys see any quick reactions and accumulations that quickly drive the price where?
Neither up or down.
Back inside.
So
Yeah,
one
back into
back
the value
inside.
area.
And you see immediately, as soon as you get in, there's usually one spike, two pikes, and where are you going?
Yeah.
You're going to the magnet. You're gonna go back to where most of the POC is. And look, you dropped, immediately went. You dropped, you danced, went. You dropped out of it, you came back. I mean, this is gonna be the magnet. It's kind of like the center of the universe now for this range.
Yeah.
So if I was gonna short this, I don't mind shorting here. I just know that there's a potential that they can stop this, right? And I could find many ways where they can stop this. Let's say if they run this right now, come on. Did I just take the wrong tool?
Of course, when I say this, Shorty, it's a joke, but you owe me one.
Okay, hold on. I don't want to lose my train of thought.
No problem.
But whenever you see something like this, there's a high probability that they will do something like this, where they do a little trap. You see the rejection here, and they went down. And then I would say from this POC, there's a high chance that they want to try and push this higher, right? So that would be the ideal way. Otherwise, I don't want to just short it here. I want to see the weakness. I want them to go here, and then I want them to lose it. I want to know that this seller here was waiting and he became a responsible seller at the second sigma here. And this would be our third one. God, he's killing me with these freaking. So if this is all I know, and now I'll look into the details of this, right? So I'm noticing that we are not going above value of the composite, right? The 68. So we got here a little bit higher. You guys see the value area went higher, and what happened? Quickly rejected. Here, we didn't really go higher, but we were potentially setting up here for what?
To go higher.
Think carefully. Is there any setup here being formed for you guys here?
80% roll to the downside.
Yeah, there's a 80% to a downside here, potentially being played, which will come back all the way to here. I would expect this to be a really tricky 80% rule, right? Because if you look a little bit to the left, you had some shelves here that they broke through. Then they came back here, and you guys see that they held this little gap here. Now they come back, they could potentially bounce it from this area here, right? This would be a smart move for them to bounce it from. So they would trap you here, 83 to about 74, so 10 points. You have to be really careful on that 80% rule. But overall, on a long-term scale, if I look at this, right, and kind of diagnose it, you had a balanced day, right? You had a D shape. Then you're followed. Let me just hide this so you guys can see it. Then you had I would say, a P shape with a really weird anomaly of volume here, and you sliced through it. Then you came back and look what they did. Did they fill that poor structure here immediately? This is not a gap. People, you would not see this as a gap because it happened at 1 o'clock. They just came back and filled the structure, and now it's repaired. That means this is fixed. And then, what did they try again? So then you have a regular D shape here. You had a shelf here. They came, they rejected, they fell inside, they executed 80%. So here comes another, I would call it almost a double distribution, D shape with 2 zones being created there. So now you're watching to see, are you going to be able to, are your value area lows going to continue creating lower lows and lower highs? And, we kind of warn each other here, if you guys recall. We said that the value area is kind of creeping inside. I don't know if you guys remember. I mentioned that it's like something is not adding up, right? That we're going to continue lower. And here we creeped up to the upside. I would say similar to here.
Yeah.
If you guys look here, it's similar. We peaked above it here, came back inside. And now you're watching here, if it fails tomorrow, if it gets inside this, right, 80%, there's a high chance we go lower. But here's your P profile again. This is called short cover rally. If this was not short cover rally here, we would have another P shape here. And that would have continued. They would have went here, and then they would have consolidated here, and they would have accepted this. They left this area here. And the volume would have spiked up as well.
Yeah. New range also.
But we are not seeing that, right? So if you guys look, we had a P shape. They went above it, but they got rejected. So as soon as you lost that, if you guys recall the 93 level, which is this POC where we shorted this, that's why, it was a good short to reject here, because you're telling me you have a weakness. You dipped below and you came back for a retest. I'll short it 10 out of 10 times. And now you have a P shape. So tomorrow, it's important that they don't lose this POC. This is do or die for them tomorrow, because if you lose the POC, have you seen any similar patterns in the past 3 days?
Yeah. Right there.
Dump.
2 days ago.
And where did it occur? Where did this occur?
Right at the top.
Sigma.
For Sigma, it happened. Where is this one occurring?
For Sigma.
It's occurring at the same spot. And we are the composite high. The only difference between this one and this one is what?
POC is a little lower.
Say it again.
POC is a little lower.
Good observation. What else?
The value area is smaller.
The value area is smaller and lower. So the value area is much lower than this one here, and you came back to reject it, right? So here your POC is also lower, but it's higher compared to the previous day. But what I know is that the volume here was not really agreeing with us shifting and breaking this composite here.
On that time frame, that one also made a lower high. I guess it's never mind. I'm sorry, it's a lower low. I take it back.
I'm sorry. I'm a little confused. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention on the that you got 1, 2, and 3 sigmas. Is that where you put your settings different, 68, 90 different settings for the SVP?
That's correct. So this one is 68. This one is really 95.4.
Okay.
And then this one will be your 99.7.
So you want which the 98 you want it where?
What do you mean where
I'm sorry, like where are you finding it? How are you finding those during?
Here, I just showed you. So if I grab this fixed volume profile and I'm looking here to see the composite, I can double click on this
Okay.
You can change the value area to 95. It's just that I stored it as a template so I can quickly change it.
Okay. So you went from up there from
I
the
picked to 95 and then it printed this, and then I went to 99 and it printed this. So I know now where the standard deviations are based on this bell curve.
you went from without those, you left those 3 days that were out of range out, and then you
Yeah.
went to the current day,
That's correct.
and then you changed you changed from that up there from where you started, you went 65, 97, and 98.
Correct. Because I want to find
no,
where's the extreme
68.
unfair value.
Yeah,
68, not 65.
Yeah,
Yeah,
68.
68. It's 34.1 times 2.
So it's 65, 98, and 97.
68.
68, not 65.
Sorry, 68, 90, 98, and 97.
95.4.
That's correct.
99.7.
But you can't type in. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the questions that I put out for you guys here. And this is a fairly important. The time regulates the market. The volume confirms it. So I suggest you guys print that out and ask yourself in the mornings, and especially which way is the market headed? Does the market want to go higher? And then you look for signs. Is the market shifting in the way it should shift? Right? So right now, the market's really, right now at the moment, we are outside of the value area high from the previous day, but we're really not accepting that. We just hit the first sigma at 68, not 65. And if we fail here, there's a 80% chance we go to the low. But here's your composite profile. If you're shorting here, what would be your ultimate target?
The POC for the run. Yeah. POC of the composite.
Good. This is going to be a big boy player here. And you guys, if you guys remember in the volume profile PowerPoint that I shared, I gave you exactly how to play this when it's ranging like this. There's 10 different ways to play this, right? One is if you go above, come here, be short here, show the weakness. You can short this, get out of the POC, wait for retest, come back, get out here. You lose this 6 sigma, you become a buyer here. You don't become a seller at second sigma. While most will be selling, you become a buyer. There's something interesting on composite. Does anyone know what that is? The shape of it, something's.
It's like a D shape.
What about the tails?
They're failed auctions because they're cut off. They're not smoothed down.
This one failed. This one did not fail. This one smooths down.
Aren't those short cover rallies?
Look at this one. This one smooths down.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But
This
then the
one?
top, they're selling off. There's
This is a
big
poor
sell off
high.
right there.
That's
Yeah.
correct. So now, if we had TPO on this profile, what would you guys expect to see here? I'm adding TPO in discussions more, so you guys start picking it up. If
Single
you
prints in
saw,
the middle.
you would probably see a lot of single prints coming in here. Single prints mean that there was another time frame buyer that really loved the value here, and he just drove the price up. Nobody was in his way. He just had a shitload to buy. He's coming in, and it doesn't matter. This guy tried to sell it. This guy's like, okay, thank you. Just absorbed everything he had. Just like the peanut butter guy. This guy's selling peanut butter, and here come, Mr. Bean comes in. It's like, hey man, I'll buy all of your supply. I don't know. Have you guys ever seen that video? I don't know if it was, I'll find it if I can, where there's 2 guys selling eggs. Like one is like, hey, I'm selling for 5 a dozen eggs, and the other guy sells it for 4.
Yeah, and then
Well-
they buy the other one. You've shown that twice.
And this guy lowers the price from 4 to 3, while the guy sitting next to him gives him the cash, buys all of his eggs, and increases the price to 8. So you guys get that? It's the same concept in trading. If this guy lowers the price so much, there's going to become a buyer that just buys it all, and both of these guys are screwed. So it's the same thing that happens in the market auction, right? We are watching to see how well is market auctioning higher or lower. Today I mentioned if, I don't know if you guys recall, if we auction higher than 39.60, that there was a high chance that they would take a run. Do you guys recall that? Or
Yes.
so 60 was important in terms of the auction. So if you guys look here, this is what I was looking at. It was 39, 59, 75. I looked to the left and I'm like, man, they really had some trouble at this level. They could not auction much higher than it. And let me just kind of go here. And if you guys look, they couldn't really auction, they failed. So if they're able to auction higher here, and look what happened. 830 failed, 9 failed, they auctioned higher, they came back and they held it. You know, I'm on 30 minutes, but even if you go in 10 minutes, you'll see. Look what they did here. And where do you see the bounce? Right off the 39.60, even though we know the 66 right here is what?
The March POC, I think. Yeah.
That's 2020 or 2022 POC.
My bad. Yeah.
That's correct. That's 2022 POC. So now you're making higher lows and you're bouncing off the big levels, right? So that's telling you somebody supporting this move, whether it's a big boy or other time frame buyers, they're coming in. Intraday trader, like let's say if you ask anyone on Twitter now, they don't know where 2022 POC is. They have no freaking idea where it's at. Nor do they care, nor do they understand how volume and time play in the auction. Right? They don't get these opportunities, right? And sometimes you see, you know, today I said I just don't see an opportunity for a trade. Like, you know, there was no opportunities here for me to trade. Then when I hopped live, we got even worse. I mean, we were looking at like, I think we took 2 trades when I was trading live. We took 1 long, I believe, and then I scalped 1 short. But that was it. I mean, other than that, the market didn't give me much. But if you're inexperienced, you would have traded this. You would have traded every wick here that it's given you, and maybe you would have done well. I'm not saying that it's impossible. But me, if I was to trade this shit here, then I probably shouldn't be a trader. Right? This doesn't make sense. On options, this doesn't make sense. Like these wicks, these pushes, you're going to be dead in no time. You're going to make a mistake one time and you'll be dead. Okay, and look where we bounced. Did I tell you guys earlier where we're going to bounce? What was this level here? Oh, somebody better know this.
Wait, hold on.
What was it? Anyone?
It was the weekly POC.
This was not. This was not weekly POC. Does anyone recall?
Which one is it?
This is speedy POC.
Well, it is now.
398 3.5.
There you go. I tried to throw some kind of confusion, but look, I drew that, but nobody's watch now. Is that where we bounced?
Yeah.
When you're looking at these things, right, you have to start remembering and memorizing what you're seeing and trusting yourself. I know where this POC is because guess what my trade plan is tomorrow? It's based off this freaking POC here. Because it happened before, and I'm just gonna watch to see if it happens again. So for me, it's key, right?
Yeah, I see it.
I'm not gonna trade between these 2 zones, like between this one and this one here. I don't really want to trade between here. I know what they can do in this area. I see it here as well. There's some volume, so I don't want to trade here. And then if you go here, right, we can find levels above this. I know there's levels here. I know there's a level at 455. I mean, it wouldn't take long figure it out. I know where the levels are on my bigger time frame.
Yeah,
So now when I
pop over March, once we pop over 4,000, we're going up.
there's a high chance once you pop that, but you have, you know, in this case, it's not PDH here. I believe it's right here now. Let me make sure. Yeah, PDH would be here now. So you're over that now. Well, slightly below, but let's see where we.
Below, yeah.
And then, you know, you have this VPOC here, and then you have the big old 50% fib there as well. The only thing that's stopping me from being bullish is what? What are the things that are stopping me from being bullish here?
Volume.
Let Bean answer. Bean on?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was looking at another chart for a second because I was trying to chart this at the same time. You got that huge node there, but I mean, bullish if it breaks over which period? I mean, you have to get over this node. If you can get over that VPOC at 4012 or so, I think it's 4012.
Mm-hmm.
But
why would why am I not 100% bullish here? I'm not, but why do you think I'm not?
You don't have the volume supporting the move. Also, you know, Wednesday, they've got, they're not going to make a decision till Wednesday. That's my opinion. That's my bias. That's my bias.
Okay.
So, I mean, from a bias standpoint, they could run this up a little bit if they're planning on crashing it Wednesday, or they could drop this down if they're planning on running it up Wednesday.
Okay.
That's my bias opinion on it. But you're basically playing right now within a zone. You're in that upper echelon right now. You're in you're below the first sigma, and even if you make it up to the third sigma, you've got to have volume to push it up.
Yep. And what would you expect the volume? You know, we are running from low 38, 39.
Well, it needs a spring, so I could see it fall and hit the center for a spring if there's enough volume to push it up and burst it through versus just struggling through.
Yep, totally.
I mean,
agree.
they could, but.
So I would say you nailed them, right? First, the volume is not agreeing with this move right now. It doesn't mean it will not change because you have a news event on Wednesday. I don't trade those. You guys want to trade it? Go ahead. I just don't trade them. Big is when you're shifting value, when you're going from bottom value to the top value. I mean, should we do a bid on $20 again and see how quickly you guys shift the value of it? You guys will shift it immediately from $1 to $19. It's gonna go.
Yeah.
And same thing here. They found value. Well, if no longer finding value and you're not auctioning higher with volume, what does that tell you about buyers at these levels? The other day when we did the auction at above 20, was anyone willing to pay me 22 for $20?
Right.
No.
It's buyer's exhaustion.
Yep.
Well, buyer's exhaustion and no value. It's not fair.
Right.
It wouldn't be fair to you guys if you guys bought my $20 bill for $22. That'd be retarded. That would be really dumb on your side, and you would not have any value. You would need that $20 bill to go to like $40 bill. So it would need to go 100% dollar, 100% in dollar value for you to make money, or whatever your goal is, right? So it's same in a stock. If they're not auctioning higher, and now we look at the composite and we have the 3 standard deviations on them. Well, inside of this, when you look at it, how many of value area highs have been above composite value area high above it?
Well, none except for that. Maybe I can't even read the date. That's it.
Yeah,
That one.
1, 2, maybe.
You can count this one here, but it got rejected. So 2. how many made value area low lower than composite value area low right now?
Three touched, traded below.
Yeah. So you have 3, right?
Yeah.
So you have 1, you have 2. I don't know. This one traded a lot below, but the value was above.
Yeah.
Then you have 3 here.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you're counting this one, then I gotta count also this one. So twice as much we spent value or price spent twice as much time is spent below the value composite than it did above the value area high. So now think about in the auction, right? What would that mean? Put yourself as a peanut butter guy with a $20 bill. They're not finding value higher and they keep sending it
Lower.
lower. So if they're not able to break this here tomorrow fairly quickly, what do you expect them to do?
Drop it back down as a failed auction, just like we did the prior day.
Do you? So
No,
that's what you,
yeah.
you had some here as well. And you had some here. They filled this one here. But there's a high chance you're going to be at 39.50 tomorrow. Would I short 39.50 like immediately? No. Because they could spring this, you know, just like they did here. They can spring that under. And then, you know, depending on what the outcome is and if there's any leakage on FMOC or, you know, what they're going to release, you just play careful. You come here, retest, then you short to first sigma. And then if you see weakness, once you reclaim the first sigma, you go long. You can become a buyer. These are your extreme buys. This is where buyers will be. This is where your sellers will be. Statistically, they're going to show up there. I don't care what anyone says, but they're going to be there. Buyer's going to be here. Seller's going to be here.
Shorty, one more time. You grab the fixed volume profile from that point right there to the current top.
Yeah, so all I did is I basically drew it from starting day of March 7th.
Yep.
And then I extended it right so I can see
To the
constant
right,
update.
to the top there.
And then what I did, I just changed this, and you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
I changed this to be, you know, first 68, then I changed this to 95, and you can save as a template.
Okay.
You type in the name, click save, and then you
Yeah.
can change this to the template that you want. So I could change this to 99. My value area shifted.
Gotcha.
See, it's third sigma, it's third sigma.
68,
If I change this to 95, it's gonna be here, and it's showing value there.
Okay. Thanks.
Then if I change this to 68,
So in general, if you went with second sigma when you do ranges, does that typically give you a good area between that second, third sigma, like in the future when things are trending for the whatever 5 to 11 or 13 days we've been seeing?
sorry, I'm not following.
Oh, okay. Normally when we're consolidating, like we are here in this channel, from what I've seen, it's lasted a lot of times maybe up to 13 days, most of the time maybe 9 or so before we get a movement out of the range. So what I'm asking is, because I haven't back tested or checked this out, if we take the second sigma above and below for that range, in general, that gives us a good long and short
Exactly.
for the range, like in the future, if we're looking.
They will react to it.
Okay.
They will definitely. So if you leave this area, let's say they're rejecting this area, it's being made. If you think about it, right? If you think about our PowerPoint, if you think about first slide in our PowerPoint, right? It's balance. Now we're looking to see if they're gonna, you know, first if they're gonna get out of the value area, and then are they gonna accept it or are they gonna reject it? So that's what we are after now. We know you're consolidating here, right? We see you. So now the key is the patience. Remember, we short the tops till, you know, we have another reason not to short the tops. And then if we're gonna break this, then we need to see a break. Then the sigma becomes important. Then you target the next level, whatever that is. And if you fail, right, this would be the short that we look for. It's short here, long here. Then of course there's multiple ways. Same on the bottom, right? But yes, this becomes very important for next value area. They will come here and the responsible buyers are gonna be here. So first initiative buyers, then it becomes what? They become the responsible kind. Here, you know, they would need initiative sellers to trigger it, more aggressive, to go from here and bring it down. So hopefully this makes sense for some of you, or at least it gives you a little bit of more light when I'm looking at this, you know, volume profiles, when I'm looking at shapes and what it means.
I think especially the sigmas, seeing it like visually represented like this definitely helps a lot as well.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I don't always do it, but I'm able to kind of just eye it and be like, okay, yeah, I can tell roughly where it's at. And then you guys know about the fibs. Whenever you're ranging like this, you know, your 50% should be very close to that POC. And here, you know, we're at 61.8 is right there. Your 50 is at 39.30. So keep that in mind. So tomorrow should be fairly, I guess, maybe choppy. I do expect us to fall inside this range. And I expect us, well, there's some news. I would expect the range to be here pretty much the whole day. Well, maybe up to, well, I can't. It'd be something like this. I guess they already tapped it. So it could be something like this. If you lose this 39.71, they're going to be all 10-point increments tomorrow because the whole value area is, I think, what, 26 points? Yeah. So now, you know, from here, you're going to get a couple of points here, not much. Between here and here is the safest play. So 71 to 60 is the safest play, but we're getting tight. If you don't have to trade tomorrow, just watch and learn. You're going to be regretting if you hold on to your plays for too long. Because they could do this the whole day here tomorrow. Okay. And I started putting together the slides for market profile. So hopefully within a week or so, we'll be able to do like a first introduction to TPO. This is not mandatory that you know it, but it will help you understand the market structures, right? A lot of times, if you just think about it, right, the equation is simple. If let me go to AMD. So if I'm spending a lot of volume here, right, if I'm doing this, what does it do to your time? That means your time spent in this area is going to be a lot, right? You guys agree?
Yeah, definitely agree.
So one goes with the other, right? The only time where it can differentiate is those sudden movements and to tell you how aggressive the buyers were. You know, if it's single prints or double prints on the bottom or a top tail, that tells you, you know, how much representation they had and how aggressive they were on the top and the bottom. Then you can look at, you know, the balance areas, right? The value areas and see how well did that play out? Like initial balance, was it broken? Was the initial balance higher than the previous day value area? Well, that's important as well, right? When you look at market profile, that plays a role. And it should play a role in volume profile, but specifically in market profile. So market profile, you know, they focus on the acceptance and rejections, the balance and balance, same thing the volume profile does. But then it also adds that time opportunity where sometimes you're like, man, you know, I hear Dumpster sometimes. He's like, man, I missed it. I went to make a sandwich. right? The market is not forgiving. It doesn't come back and give you that same scenario. It might be slightly different and you might not like it as much. So that opportunity that you had was there, but you didn't take it. So that's where TPO will kind of help you guys understand. And you'll sometimes hear me, like today, 1960 was pretty good for auction. If you're able to hold it, they were going to drive a little bit auction higher, and they did, right? So those things come in with the experience. Once you learn volume, you understand the time, and then the price discovery, right? Price is used to discover the levels, right? You go to a price, just like we talked about peanut butter. If the guy jacks up the peanut butter price to $12, he's testing to see if he can maximize his profits. The rule in business to maximize your profits is fairly simple. If I'm selling peanut butter, let's say 39.31, bring the decimals, let's say $3.90, and let's say this is the other price is $4. Well, if I want to see how well is my price and maximize my profits, what's the best way for me to maximize the business profits?
Raising it.
Should I raise it like this?
No, by increments.
Yeah, you want to go here and then see if your supply gets bought up. If they get bought up, then you do this and you say, hey,
Exactly.
shortage, you go here,
Little by little.
and then you go here. Then it might stay here for long, and then let's say water crisis come and you're selling water, and now the price of water, just like we had gold and oil, they spike up. But then you increase it one more last time, and what happens is that you don't get any buyers at this level.
Yeah.
What do? Well, you will bring it back to the last price where you had
the buyers. Yeah.
the buyers. Okay, well, let's think about volume profile. When you think about volume profile, what do I tell you guys to focus on when you're looking for retests?
On the price going higher and coming back down and retesting, or when it's going, when it's going higher, to make sure that it's to make sure that it's strong enough to go higher. So,
but what do we focus on? We focus on accumulation zones.
Sorry.
So if I'm looking to see where's the potential for, let's say, this stock, I don't need to spend an hour to figure out where I would buy intraday AMD.
Yeah, it's right there.
I know it's gonna be right here.
Yep.
For me, this is okay. This is not the best sign so far. So they accumulated here. They are reaccumulating now. They're above the POC, which might be a good sign here. Let me make sure we're in 68. But if this was to start falling down, it has a couple of volume nodes, right? So it depends where you are and how quickly you want to play. If you want to play quick bounce, you have a level here. If you trade something like myself, you really want to get the bang for the buck, and I trade value. I want to get the price somewhere here. Ideally, I want to get the price right here. And then what I could do here is just grab here to here and maybe double click this guy and not extend them. And now I would know it's about $87 when if it was to come back in this range, I'd be a buyer here intraday if I was looking at AMD, right? And that happens a lot everywhere, right? So if I was looking at this and I see that we're coming up,
right, Shorty?
Say it again.
At the session.
Say it again.
Are you looking at the previous session?
No, I'm not. I don't know what I'm looking. There's more days here. I'm looking just at accumulation zones in 30 minutes, and I see here
I got you.
AMD is hitting one accumulation zone, but why is this one bearish here while it looked bullish here? Why do you guys think I'm bearish here?
Oh yeah, I see it.
Because it sold off here before and it hasn't gone over the POC.
You see the imbalance they created from this level? And they sent it all the way to 92. So if this demand is not able to take out this supply here and make a higher high, the stock is prone to go to $87. And then if I zoom out, what Bean's talking about, if we just zoom out, longer picture, and I'm looking at this, right? This is a fairly tight area. What's 101 to 95? That's the whole value area of this. And if I want to zoom in, there is 107 for the rejection on it. So, like I said, it can definitely go a little bit higher, right? But it just did not feel like it wants to go much higher. If you look at this here, you have candles, you're buying, buying, buying. It looks great. But then what happens?
Stopping volume.
Well, the volume starts to fall off. Buyers slow down.
That's
The
my
buyers are getting a little bit exhausted here. They're slowing down. So for me, it's natural that I play this the way I'm playing this right now. I want to short this, dependent, what kind of game you're playing. I want to short this here. If they break this above and then they fail, I'll add more.
Yeah.
And if you guys recall, that's exactly how I did Baba. And people, again, on Twitter, they said I was crazy for shorting a train that was running forever.
Mhm, mhm.
And I said, this is going to go to $87. It was going to go here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
So ideally, if it's gonna a good show of weakness is if it goes above, comes back down, retest, and then short it.
That's correct. That's the one that we want.
That's the one
And
we
this
want.
is the same on Baba, what they did. You guys remember, we talked about the gaps, and I mean, you guys see it. It was missing a lot. And I said, hey, I was pretty heavy short on Baba. I was over $100,000 short when we were arriving here. And when we were going higher, I was just adding. We completed this. I mean, think about it, from 122 to $80.
Wow.
So you lost $50 here. And it's simple, guys. I'm not using anything. I'm not hiding anything that I'm doing from you guys. I'm doing exact the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. And this is slowly turning to be bullish here. So it's coming up on a level where we might be looking for some swing long here. Yeah, I think we should look at Baba tomorrow.
Just gonna say that analogy really hit home for me. The one like where you're thinking of yourself kind of as like someone that's trying to maximize your profit, because it makes sense, like even everything we're talking about, like you have your shelves. The shelves are kind of like where you kind of had some acceptance. Like let's say you're selling something, or no, that's more like your POC, I would say, to the extreme.
Yeah, I mean, it depends where your volume was, right? I mean, it just depends where your volume is. If your volume was in that area where you had a congestion, then that means your people are happy. That means you're selling and they're buying. But if you increase the price a little bit higher and they're not, it will be a little tiny high volume node, but it just won't be, there for a long time. The price shouldn't stay there for a long time.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to think of it like this when I'm, like in trades and whatnot as well. I feel like it'll help a lot more.
Bean, you asked me to, when you look at long-term stuff, I'm looking at Baba from March of 2022. Look where Baba rejected. This is third sigma here. This third sigma, let me change it to second. And there's a developing value area. Look at the zone right here. It literally gave it nothing. And look at the price.
Shorty, do your sigma goes from a high to low, 68, 95, and 98, about 68 being 1, 2, or 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, it's exactly here.
Okay.
Add up this number, add up this one, and that one, and that one.
Okay.
But yeah. So I mean, you guys just have to think about the value, well, especially when you're trading. Look at the 30 minutes, see where we are. If I look at SPY, for instance, if I look at SPY here and I'm like, okay, well, what is SPY gonna do tomorrow? What are the odds we go higher or lower? Right. So if I look at this, what does this look like?
The structure.
This is my structure, right? So let's pick on catching rockets. How would you play this catching rockets?
How would I play SPY?
Yeah, based on what you're seeing here.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you draw a fixed range volume profile, like from the bottom to the top, the POC is probably going to be right around 192, 190-ish, right around there. Yep. So to short, I would want to take that 196.52 level-ish. I wouldn't mind. Well, I wouldn't mind taking a long on the retest of the POC. Yeah, actually, I would. I take that back. I mean, for a couple points, it's okay. Like if my plan is to take a couple of points from the POC, I would be happy with that. Yeah. If not, I would be looking to short, or even a break above and retest of 39, 394.23 there to go long
Why
would be
this
nice.
level?
Because it's gonna be a support resistance flip. So that's why I was initially saying like a retest of the POC for a couple of points would be, worth it up to that level in case it does reject there again. But if we cross above that level, I would happily take a retest long. And then for shorting, I would want to tap the 396.52 level. And take the retest short. Or get close to that level 396 retest.
Why
and
is
take it short.
394 so important?
It's support resistance flip, and it's also
What about market auction?
oh, you have you have failed auction there, and you have a failed auction at 383.74, and you also have a
How
failed
much
auction.
time think about the guy that sells cars? How much time did he spend auctioning SPY above 394.23? How many times did he go there?
Once.
And how did he do there?
Not good.
Okay. So the odds of people that are going to go along here above this level and be successful are fairly quick and short.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not looking to go along here. The only way I go along is above 396.5.
Okay, makes sense.
If we break this, then my acceptance becomes here.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't mean to draw that one like that. So the acceptance is this one here. My rejection would be go break above it, just like they did here when they rejected it. That was your first short that you had to take.
Very valid point.
You broke, you shorted it. So now, if you're going to get out of this value area that they're in, and this is identical to what I had in PowerPoint, we were short, you came back here, you broke it, you're shorting this. Excuse me. You're shorting the first tap here, and then you wouldn't know this data, right? You wouldn't know all the way here, but you would know, let's say if you knew that this data here was available, right?
Can I actually interrupt you really quick, Shorty?
Just,
I mean, now that I'm looking like at more of a bigger picture, I wouldn't want to short 396.52 either because we didn't make a lower low from there.
Correct.
So I mentioned that earlier, but now that I'm like not feeling quite as on the spot and like taking a step back, we're not making lower lows. I wouldn't want to short that. Like you said, I would want to go long over 396, and I would also still be happy to go long at that like 390 POC retest up to like 394.
That's correct. You don't want to short the first step, and this is called a weak high. What is a strong high?
Where you have like just one candle wick up and then, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, wick down from it, and you get like a strong rejection down, just one wick.
Let's see. I'm gonna pick on somebody
A
else.
strong rejection would be like, or in this case, a strong support would be that wick that hit like 380.56 as an example. Do you see it,
Okay.
Shorty?
Yeah, I see it. I'm just making sure that I'm gonna pick on somebody else that they're awake.
Oh no, I was just like, so you can maybe point it out to
This
the
one here
one at the
was
very bottom.
small, strong high here. This is a strong low.
380.56, the red line, down one.
Yeah,
That's a
this is your
strong low.
strong. That's a strong low, correct? Here, this is a weak high.
Yep.
This is a fairly strong high.
Yep.
Weak high. Strong high. Well, I don't know. It sounds tricky here. This is a strong high, strong low here. So now, if this one, and you guys probably should know about this, when your supplies are not making lower lows and they're not causing it, then demands need to take that supply out and accept it to be above it. And that would be an SR flip. There would be a whole lot of things going on if we were to kind of dump from here.
Mhm.
I gave you this range. I did not give you a full picture. I gave you the range analysis, but now you see the full picture.
Yeah.
The dump did not start here. This is not where the dump started. Dump started here.
Yep.
Right. So if you're gonna go long above 396, you better know about this level. And I guarantee you, you're gonna reject here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is gonna look like this. If they want to accept it, they gotta accept this, and they gotta break this, and then they gotta accept this guy here, and then to proceed to go higher. I would say probably to here.
Yeah.
So here's your SPY game plan. You have the bullish buy. My sells would be you go here, you lose this, then I know you're invested into going low and 383. Short, long, long, short, short here as well. If you miss this one, where would I not want to short? In terms of if I think about FVP, right? If I extend this guy all the way, I don't want to be entering a short somewhere around POC. So you always want to find this guy that's a 392, and you do not want to be there. And
How come
now
you're
when
using
you,
row size 200 now?
it just gives me a little bit more details, but it doesn't change much.
I think it
But
does change the
okay.
POC.
Really? Didn't change this one.
Yeah, some I think. I could be wrong.
It just gives me more lines sometimes and gives me like better curvature around it.
I get it. There was a time when I was using row size 200 and my levels would be different than yours because of it.
Yeah. On this one here, I mean, if you break this level, high chance you go to, 396.52, I would think. You're gonna go here. If you break this, you have a nice skinny belly all the way to this level. I think they're gonna be there. They're gonna be waiting. And then you see here, if you break this level here, I would say 4015, then you can most likely run to 405. And that's how I would kind of diagnose, how are these levels going to play out. And I don't need to spend a whole lot of time. Then if I just turn on my SVP, I think it completes the picture for me real quick. So here's my SVP, higher high. Let's see. Actually, I'm on SPY. Sorry, I forgot. It's not a really decisive close on SPY. They need to auction tomorrow higher out of the gate above 394.23. Otherwise, we're going to have a down day. We're going to fill some structures here, probably to this POC. 390. So lose 392, high chance you go here. 390.19. And how's volume on SPY? Oh, yeah. Look at this volume here and look at this volume here.
Pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can sell this story to somebody else. I hope somebody else buys it. All right, well, hopefully you guys picked up some knowledge. We'll see how. And on puts on AMD, I'm in April 21st.
Check your DM, Shorty.
Thought I did. Maybe I didn't. Oh, I did. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
More just
that's-
kind of.
That was
take
a
it easy.
tough one, bro.
It's a very old book. You should post that in a Discord.
Okay.
It's a very good book. You guys should definitely read this book.
That was a very, very, very hard find. I'll post
You
it
guys
right
should-
now.
This is, I don't know if you guys know, but this is the guy that everything I know is thanks to this dude.
He has 2 books.
Yeah,
Is
he
that
has 2
your
books.
mentor?
No, he's not my mentor, but I know people that were on the floor with him.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, he did this for a very long time, 40 years.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I'm posting it in the books right now as I speak.
Yeah, it's a very interesting read.
Yeah, I saw it
Writing.
was $1,500 on.
You can't find the
Amazon.
book. I don't think you can find it. Can you find it even?
Yeah, it's for sale on Amazon right now.
Yeah, I'm
$1,500.
Yeah,
And I
it'll be
found
very.
it on an auction for $350.
That's actually a good deal for that book.
You got it?
Yeah, how do you think I got the PDF?
Yeah,
Scanned
here's-
it.
Here you go. If you guys want to buy it,
Oh, sorry. Yours. Why is yours more expensive?
maybe they know something. I don't know.
I could have sworn it was 1,500. Oh no, I'm wrong. It's like
What
3K.
auction on, you know?
Yeah.
I suggest you guys read this book.
Sure, you gonna be on with us tomorrow or no?
Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow, but I don't expect anything more than a range day tomorrow.
Range
I,
day,
I
yeah.
don't trade, and when I say range, I mean sideways.
Yeah.
I don't trade sideways. It's gonna break. It's gonna break around 3:30 tomorrow. So
So
You've been
probably
saying he doesn't care if I'm on tomorrow.
say it again.
That's not true.
I said Cuban doesn't care if I'm on tomorrow.
You're
Oh, of
such
course
a
it does.
liar.
Cuban is really appreciative of you. I know that much.
I do too.
That's
I'm joking.
He
I
knows
wouldn't give
I'm-
him a hard time if I didn't know that. I'm joking, of course.
we have
Okay.
we have a good time in the morning, man.
No, of course you guys do. All right, guys. Well, I will have a quiz for you guys on value areas, and all of you guys will be required to take it.
Awesome.
So, and we'll see where. I just need to know where you guys stand in terms of, the Discord was limited. It's been limited for almost a year. What, 2 years now? Drew, I don't even know how many years. Like
Year and a half, give or take, yeah.
it's been very limited, and you guys, I would say, most of you guys know each other's and families by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll add some new people and share the knowledge, but I'm not gonna add it till I feel comfortable that you guys can actually help and also help others learn. And I
Right.
think that would be unselfish thing to do from you guys is to help others.
Shit, you know I'm there, man.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
I
All right,
hate,
guys. Well,
I
Hey,
hate
Shorty.
helping people.
no, you
Lies.
you live for that, man. Alrighty, guys. Well, have a good
Appreciate
night.
you guys.
I'll post the charts and levels, and you should be ready for tomorrow. The
All right,
range, yeah.
everyone. Much love.
Yeah,
Have a
see
good
you guys.
night.
Thanks so much,
Bye.
Shorty.
Good
Thank
night,
you, Shorty.
guys.
Have a
All
good
right.
night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Night, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Good night, Sunflower. Good night.